morning?
I mean, he would talk too. He would,
I'm trying to think too.
yeah, Lynn, you should have been around. Remember? I think he's deceased now. I thought I heard, but
Mm.
Yeah, that's happened to quite a few of our people.
yeah.
You know, Kenny Wapnick played the clarinet.
But not on Pal Talk.
I found out today he was talking about it in his workshop. He wasn't taught well and he didn't play well, but he plays.
Aha.
That's so
And
interesting.
we used to have Peter Fippen. He was a regular,
Oh yeah.
and Terry and Charlotte were there every morning.
Terry and Charlotte.
Cynthia,
Yeah, Cynthia. I'm still real
and
good friends
others.
with her on you. Today's her birthday. Today's Cynthia's
Oh,
birthday. Yeah. Had the
cool.
birthday the same as Ken Wapnick. So yeah, she's still a good friend. And
Do you still see Peter Fippen, who was
I've seen Peter a couple times. He was up in Boston. He's still up in Boston, I believe. And when I went out to stay at Vicky's house one time, he came in, and it was so funny. He's just, such a doll. And uh I was sleeping on one couch, and somebody came in the middle of the night and slept on one of the other couches, and I was like peeking my eyes like, who is that, who is that? And it was Peter. And it was so funny. And he we were I was on Pal Talk in the dining room, and he was in the kitchen with a few other people, and he started singing a song, and I started singing along and doing the harmonies and stuff, and it was like hilarious. Like, he came around the corner like, who is that in here singing? But he's got such a great voice. He's a great singer. So he comes into Pal Talk occasionally.
And Dave
Yeah.
the Wave would be there in the mornings too, because
Dave the Wave.
he was
Are you talking about Peter? That Peter?
Yeah, that Peter. Yeah.
I
The
love
black
that
eye.
Peter. I didn't know he comes in. Yeah.
He's been in a few times, huh, Dove? It'd be like all of a sudden.
Yes. Well, I remember one time for sure about a year ago, maybe, or around 6 months ago. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a few months ago.
Yeah.
So
He put on that great show every Monday night.
him and Julie, they were awesome. Awesome. But that's the great thing about this, is like an evolving community. And we're still very connected. Like, of course, we're still very connected with Vicky and Teddy. I'm still connected with Teddy, even though he's gone on to another another plane. I talk to Teddy quite frequently, in fact. Um, which is pretty funny because when he was alive, he didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But now that now that he's gone, he's much smarter than I thought. But anyway, I'm just kidding. But that all those old folks, they're still around. A lot of them have passed on. So Ken Mallory is gone. Of course, remember Ron Clark. There's so many great people, and that'll be us someday too. Somebody will be sitting here saying, "Yep, remember Lynn? She was a hoot." Or maybe something else. I don't know what someone would say about me. Anyway, hello everybody, and love you, love you, love you. So let's. Anybody have anything they wanted to talk about before we go on? All right. Let me see. Let me put up the participant list so I can see. Oh, I see. Rafi has his hand up. See, that's what good it does to put up the participant list. Rafi, go ahead.
I had one little thing that happened 2 days ago that just knocked me out, and I wanted to share it. I took a look at ego, And what he reminded me of was Wile E. Coyote. Now, I don't know if you remember Wile E. Coyote in the
My
cartoons,
God.
but if you look at
Mm.
Wile E. Coyote and see what he was trying to do and how disastrous everything he touched turned out to be, I thought, that's typical ego. And it broke me up, and I thought, well, okay, there's an image of ego for me.
Oh my gosh, Rafi, I was using that exact same thing yesterday, joking about Wiley Coyote and yeah, yesterday. That's funny. That's see where we are in one mind. We are one. We are one. It's kind of weird how it all crosses over, isn't it? It's
That
amazing.
is really weird. Yeah, something like that happened earlier today too. Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to share something. Last week, we were talking about the dark night of the soul, and Nicole shared something that I wrote down. And she said that, I didn't write everything exactly like you said, but pretty close. She said, the world offered me nothing I wanted, just pain and separation. I just wanted to experience oneness with God. That was all. I just wanted to know God. And I thought about that. I wrote it down. I thought that was so beautiful. And, it just reminded me of Kate Greaves, because Kate Greaves came to that point in her life when she started to awaken. That's where she came to that point, and she stopped listening to music on the radio. She stopped watching TV. She stopped all electronics, and all she wanted to know was God. And she started just with what you said. And it just made me think of that, because it's like, getting to that point where, that's all I want. I just want God. I want nothing else. The world offers me nothing that I want. You're not just saying the lesson, you're really meaning it, feeling it. And it just reminded me of Kate Greaves. And I just had to say that because I thought it was beautiful. So that's all.
Well, thank you. It's nice to wake up from that um Dark Knight evolution mode, that's for sure. I wouldn't recommend it. So if there's easier ways to get to that desire, and I'd highly recommend those. But thank you.
That's so interesting. Yeah, thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Karen. And McKaylee has her hand up. I just was going to real quickly say I was listening to Keith Kavanaugh today from his thing with John Monday. I played it on the radio, and and he basically said exactly the same thing. Was that he just he just asked himself one day, what the heck am I doing? Why do I keep, coming up to it and then backing off and coming up to it and backing off? And I realized that's what I do too. And so I just before this group, I went and meditated for a while, and that was actually what I was looking at. It was, why is it? And, can I let go? McKaylee, please go ahead.
Well, I too, Lynn, was going to bring up Keith Kavanaugh because I watched him on two different classes, and one was John Monday, and then he was on another one. So, and he spent 5 hours a day listening to Ken Wapnick. And what I really like, and Karen, you mentioned this too about looking at it, is Keith Kavanaugh keeps mentioning to look at it. And today, well, believe it or not, I was driving in my car. I was saying, well, when I'm looking at it, I'm stepping outside of the dream. So when I'm looking at it, I'm with my right mind, because I'm realizing I'm stepping outside of that dream. So I'm able to look at it. Even if if you're experiencing a feeling, it's just looking at it. It's really interesting. So thank you, Lynn.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, it's so interesting because Keith is also doing songs on Awakening Together. And so that's, I think it is once a month or maybe every Sunday. I'm not sure. Anyway, I think Lynn Castaldo sent me the one from the other week, so I might play that also on the radio. But isn't it interesting how, this, person comes into our thinking, and then it's like everybody knows about it. Everybody's everybody's thinking about the things that this being is saying. And of course, it's the Holy Spirit, isn't it? It's just the Holy Spirit that's moving out through everyone. And we may see it as being something different, or somebody different, a different person. It's not a different person. There's not somebody else out there. This is a figure in my dream. And this is, I mean, this is what I have to remind myself. I keep remembering it's a dream. And if you can only just know that even for a moment, and just the feeling of it, just knowing that this is a dream, just like when you're sleeping and dreaming, you can't help but wake up because it's a dream. Oh my goodness. Anyway, anybody else have anything they'd like to share before we get started with our look at we're just about, we have about 3 paragraphs left, I think. This is my understanding and remembrance. Although I go and look. Usually I go and take a look at the YouTube video and see where we are. But I'm pretty sure this is it. And if it's not, then someone will tell me, all right, maybe not. So but I think we just got uh in fact, let's read. There's 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's read 5, 6, 7, 8 here. And this is in true perception and knowledge, the difference, or how they relate to each other, true perception and knowledge. Would someone like to read paragraph 5?
I'll read it.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Paragraph 5. A world forgiven cannot last. It was the home of bodies, but forgiveness looks past bodies. This is its holiness. This is how it heals. The world of bodies is the world of sin, for only if there were a body is sin possible. From sin comes guilt, as surely as forgiveness takes all guilt away. And once all guilt is gone, what more remains to keep a separated world in place? For place has gone as well, along with time. Only the body makes the world seem real. For being separate, it could not remain where separation is impossible. Forgiveness proves it is impossible because it sees it not, and what you then will overlook will not be understandable to you, just as its presence once had been your certainty.
Oh my gosh. What do you think about that?
Well, to me, it's saying that you have to look past the body, and that's what forgiveness does. It looks past the body to its holiness, and that's how you heal. So, a world forgiven cannot last.
Brooklyn, please go ahead. Thank you, McKaylee. Unmute yourself, sweetie.
Namaste, mighty companions. Yeah, a world forgiven cannot last because an ego forgiven is ridiculous. An ego forgives the world. God doesn't need to forgive because he never condemned. I don't know, am I going off the topic? Or If forgiveness looks past bodies, it's how it heals. Yeah, oh, we forgive ourselves. We forgive ourselves, capital S, in all our variations. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Brooklyn. Yes, think about this. What's he talking about here? That the thing that makes us aware of sin or think that sin is possible is the body. If there's no body, there's nothing can be harmed. There's no sin possible. There's no attack possible. There's nothing to fear. If there's not the body, and when he talks about the body is not just this thing that I believe myself to be and believe you to be. It's the entire fabric of the dream. The body is the entire fabric of the dream, not just the personalities that are running around here, the little egos. It's everything that we see is a projection of our thinking that the body, and it's all everything the body needs, everything the body wants, everything the body, I mean, it just, it's all everything that's here in support of the body, everything that's here that is of the body. These are this is the only place where mistakes can be made, where things can fall down, where things can get broken. It's the only place where there's a frailty and a fragility and a impermanence, and also the assurance that death is inevitable. The body is the token of death, and it can't last. So what's he talking about when he says forgive the body? And Karen just today, I don't know if you listened to your own recording, but Karen just did a whole beautiful talk on the forgiven world that we posted out on YouTube earlier today, really talking about this very thing. The forgiven world, what is it? A place where there's no bodies, a place where there's no separation, a place where there's no fear. That's a forgiven world. And that is when we recognize that, he says it'll be just the same as you feel right now about the world you think you see. What you think you see here seems normal and natural. When you're there, that's normal and natural. And if you could see this, you would think this was ridiculous. But you can't, because not in the freaking world. Kieran, please go ahead. And did Glorian have her hand up first?
Glorian had her hand up first.
Okay. Glorian, please go ahead, and then Karen.
Yeah, would you like to go, Karen? Doesn't matter. We can go. Okay, well, I was thinking when you were speaking this afternoon at John Monday's meeting, someone said to John, bodies die. And it came to me that, yes, bodies seemingly deteriorate because they are the projection of an image, and the image is part of the imagination, and that's not real. So ultimately, that's what we're here to see, that we're dreaming, and look at it and look beyond that concept that we hold of the body to what is really there. And that's what he's saying here in the paragraph. A world forgiven cannot last. When we forgive, this disappears. Forgiveness is recognizing that what you think your brother did not occur. It was the home of bodies. But forgiveness looks past bodies, beyond those concepts, to the light that's really there. This is its holiness, its oneness. And this is how it heals, by changing the mind back from fear to love, into the recognition, love, oneness, creation. The world of bodies is the world of sin, mistaken belief. Sin is a mistake. For only if there were a body is sin possible, something other than everything. Excuse me, my phone's ringing. From sin, mistaken perception, comes guilt, listening to that fearful voice of the body. As surely as forgiveness takes all guilt away. Because once we recognize what's actually there, there's no more listening to that fearful voice of the ego. And once all guilt is gone, what more remains to keep a separated world in place? Nothing. There's forgiveness, there's oneness, there's wholeness, and there's peace. For place has gone as well, because all there is the eternal now. Place is gone as well, along with time. Time collapses. Only the body makes the world seem real. For being separate, it could not remain where separation is impossible. So it is something other than everything. It perceives itself to be something other than everything. Forgiveness proves it is impossible because it sees it not. And as we said, it looks beyond the concepts that it's seemingly there to the reality of the light and truth that's there. And what you then will overlook will not be understandable to you, meaning the body. You won't understand it anymore. You won't see it. You'll have no need for it, just as its presence once had been your certainty. So just as we are identified with it and it's seemingly real, once we make that shift to love, then it won't be understandable to us anymore, not seen. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Yeah, that's a beautiful discussion of that entire section. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, and it seems pretty clear to me. Karen, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Gloria. Thank you, everyone. I love what everyone shared. I liked how Lynn said the body is the entire fabric of the dream. And he tells us that the body is the central figure in the dream. So it is what I think I am most days. And I always think of what Regis shares about the body. You know, we 24 hours in a day and 23 hours of the day, we respond like we are a body. So what I'm thinking, I see a lot of guilt in here. So what it's reminding me of is the body and form. We live in linear time, which is the ego's time, which is sin, guilt, and fear. And the sin, we're always reminded of something. I was just talking on the phone with a course friend, and we were talking about that, you know, how, you know, the guilt, you feel guilt over something that happened in the past. The sin is the past. And the bodies go through that, you know, and then the present is that guilt, and then the future is the punishment. We're worried about being punished. We're worried about backlash. We're worried about whatever, you know, just it doesn't matter. Just worried. So it's then Glorian said about the eternal now. That is the Holy Spirit. When we ask the Holy Spirit, I'm going to say when I ask the Holy Spirit to see things differently and to see another way, I'm brought into the present moment. The right mind is here and now. You know, there's no guilt, there's no sin, there's no past, there's no future. It's right now. So seeing beyond the body for me is just seeing beyond, you know, the past, seeing beyond the linear time, seeing that it's only right now. It's always now. There's nothing else. Nothing else matters. Nothing else exists. And when I want to play that game, you know, but play the game of sin, how long, oh, Holy Son of God, will you play the game of sin? As long as I want to believe in the past and think it's still real and bring it into the present, I'm going to suffer, you know? So forgiveness proves it's impossible because it sees it not. It sees beyond the body, and it's only when I forgive and ask the Holy Spirit. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karen. And yeah, that's it. It's only when I'm seen with the Holy Spirit. And that is, you know, that's the 24/7 challenge, you know, is, you know, who am I looking at this with? Who am I seeing with? Myrna, please go ahead. And then Nicole, I see you have your hand up too. So Myrna first.
Yeah, I love what you said, Karen. And you too, Lynn. I mean, it just brings it all to light. I'm thinking, you know, yes, we are separated with bodies. The bodies separate us. Without bodies, then how could there possibly be separation? There's only consciousness, and we're all joined that way through consciousness. And I think the only way to really look past is to go within. I mean, that's where our safety lies, not in the outside world, but within the within the beauty of what we have to rely on with the connection that we can receive, not through the outside world, not with our bodies, but through the spirit, which really exists within. And I really try so hard to connect with that. That's why I speak a lot to Jesus, to spirit. And so many of the answers really do come. They come in the form of truth, not as something that we are not really sure of. I mean, once you feel that truth within, then it comes as a knowing. And again, that comes from within the soul. That's it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Myrna. And yeah, that communication that you're talking about, that's something that we could have with everybody all the time. Sometimes there are people who are just open that you connect with. Maybe you never even met them before. They're somebody new or someone you just see in a store on the street or in a meeting, and you have an instant connection to them, and it's because they're open to you, and you can connect on a spiritual level that is more real. And you know who those, you've had that happen. I mean, I'm sure many times with people and wondered, we must have known each other in another life or, somehow or the other. But the reality of it is that spirit that is within them that is open, that they allow to be open to you in your particular whatever that is. And that's really kind of a practice for how we can start relating to each other and to even strangers, to people that we don't even know. I do that, and it's just like an open attempt to connect with people. And sometimes it freaks people out. Sometimes people get they don't know what's happening, and it confuses them. But sometimes they're like very open and ready for it, and you can actually have a real conversation with a person, because because you are in that place, whatever that may be. Um, but it's a willful thing. It's something you can do with your own mind and your own thinking. Um, anyway, Nicole, please go ahead.
Hi. So yeah, I'm like reading this and like, wow. And he says some interesting things here. Like he says, when you listen to what he's saying, the world of bodies is the world of sin, for only if there were a body, it's impossible. So he's saying there are no bodies. So this, which we think is a body, if it's not a body, well, what is it? And he's also saying the world of bodies is not real. If it's not a world of bodies, then what is it? What actually is it? What is it? Right? And this is what forgiveness brings us to. And what is forgiveness? It's letting go of our old ideas about what it is, this world. And, I got taken this morning to lesson 7. I see only the past in this, whatever it might be, in this cup, in this thing, whatever. And then when I read, and he, he does the procession, he says, this is why, blah, 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 blah. Nothing I say means anything. This is why this is why that, this is why this is why that. And then the next lesson, and I had this absolute moment of clarity where I just went, wow. And there's only this present moment. And he says the only true thing one can say about the past is it is not now, right? So there is only this present moment. And when I am looking at the past, all right, okay, I am making it now. I'm making it now. I'm making it now. There's only now. There's only now. So what am I doing when my mind is focused? It's not thinking. It's not thinking. It's stuck on the past. And all I am doing is reproducing, revitalizing. And this so-called world is more like a kind of holodeck. If you watch Star Trek, like this magical, this neck of the woods or neck of creation is like this holodeck that is sustained by the love of God. It is vitalized and sustained by the love of God. And what plays host to this creation, which is all one and holy deck, the holy deck, holodeck, holy deck, right, is the images that we have made and we are making now, not in the past. Like there is something that I'm not getting. Like we have the opportunity in the now where some idea may continue its effect until we look again at it and choose again. And we choose again, you see? But it's what we're seeing now that's important. And when we anticipate the future and we are seeing what is past, we're missing now, because now what we're doing in the now is anticipating, we're seeing something that's not here, right? It's not here, but we are here. It's not here. We're seeing it and reproducing it as not here, not here, not here. The next day comes. We think we're waiting, but no, what we're doing is co-creating. We are co-creating in this kind of holy deck, right? Which not bodies and things. It is our thoughts playing host and sustained by the love of God, which he's allowed in his perfect unconditional love of us, Anyway, it's just quite amazing. So I'm having this real clarity right now, and I just needed to share that. Thank you.
That is freaking amazing. Thank you so much, Nicole. What a beautiful experience. And were you making fireworks? Because I kept seeing fireworks when you were speaking around you.
Really?
Did anybody else see fireworks when Nicole was speaking?
Yes, it was so cool. It was so
I always make a
cool.
Fourth of
Yeah, I did
July.
too.
Oh my God, I couldn't
Fireworks.
believe it.
Wow. Yeah.
It was wild. It went dark behind you, but these fireworks were flashing behind you. It was amazing.
Wow.
It was amazing.
Wow. Wow, that's
No, yeah.
amazing. Because
Yeah.
look, this is all that's behind me. It's just this.
No,
Yeah.
it was intense.
Yeah, it was, I was like, how is she doing that? Her hands are here. I see both of her hands. She doesn't have her fingers on the, how is she doing this? That was bizarre. Well, okay, I'm glad somebody else saw that. I thought maybe it was just me. Okay. All right. Karen, you have your hand up, and then Cindy, somebody else had their hand up too. But anyway, Karen, go ahead.
Yeah, she was shining her light as she made fireworks. Her light was shining so bright. Oh my gosh. I love what she said about the present moment. It's only the present moment. It's only now. And it's reminding me of what it says in the Course in chapter 18. You have not utterly forgotten the body. It has not completely disappeared. You are not asked to let this happen for more than an instant. Yet it is in this instant that the miracle of the atonement happens. So it's only and always right now in this instant we forget the body. But as soon as we can forget the body, meaning it's not going to, like, there's another spot that reminds me of this, where he says that your question should not be, how can I see my brother without the body? Ask only, do I really wish to see him sinless? And as you ask, forget not that his sinlessness is your escape from fear. Salvation is the Holy Spirit's goal. So for me, that's what really helps me. Like, it's just in this moment now, and I don't have to. It's not about, for me, it's not about not seeing the body. It is not about that. It's seeing beyond the body to the truth. And I was just talking about that before I came on here with someone. We were just talking about that. And it's like, even with Hitler, we're talking about Hitler, it doesn't matter who it is. They are innocent, whole, and complete. The truth of who we are doesn't matter. Nothing matters. What we did, what we said, what we think we did, what we think we said, it can never hurt the truth of who we are. That doesn't mean I'm going to go out and kill 100 people because I'm innocent. And it just means that everything is perfect and I don't have to worry about it. And I don't have to not see the body. See, that doesn't work for me. Like, the body is the body, it's here. And I'm not going to deny the body. That's one thing I just think it's not helpful for me. But just knowing that it's not the truth of who I am, because that's what it's teaching me. It's teaching me that from all the physical things I'm going through, and I'm planning surgery in March, a big surgery in March, and it's all perfect. And I feel at peace with it. And my body continually teaches me, you are not this body, because your body is changing all the time. But the truth of who you are will never change. So it doesn't matter what happens to the body. It matters how I react, how I respond, and what am I thinking? What are my thoughts, about it, So thanks.
Wow, thank you so much, Karen. And yeah, geez, this is, it can be confusing to be recognizing that I'm not the body and I'm going to have surgery. I go through that myself quite often. But you're doing maintenance, general maintenance, just like, you're going to wash your dishes when they're dirty. So, it's not that I'm, I'm now, keeping you in my heart and mind about that. But the whole idea of, what is really happening here? I mean, we're asking the deep question, what is really happening here? Why is this occurring the way that it is in this order, and how is it that we're experiencing this dream in such a real way? Obviously we're very clever creators, um, but man, anyway, Cindy has her hand up, and then Myrna. Please go ahead, Cindy.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, so much went by. um, yeah, really brilliant stuff. First, the first stuff that came to me was um, looking. I wish I could remember. It was like when you look, through forgiveness. It goes beyond what we see. The judgment and the hate, and I can't put it into words now. It's too far back, but I'll just drop that one. But Lynn, I have to say, I had to laugh when you connect with people and you feel it. That there are some people that don't get it. Anyway, I so much relate to that. I just had to throw that in. in for a minute, because I do get overzealous with people, and they kind of like, I scare them, I think, sometimes. Um, but Nicole, that was so brilliant what you said. I really was on the same page with you the whole time. Thank you very much for that. And that's all I can remember to say right now. So I'll let go of the mic.
Thank you, Cindy. Yeah. Yeah, you're one of those people. I think if we ever came into touch with each other in person, didn't even know who each other were, we would know each other. It just that you definitely are one of my kind. I don't know what how to say it. Myrna, please go ahead.
Yeah. We're talking about bodies and really trying to look past bodies. And sometimes it's very hard to do that. And I'd like to bring something up that's really kind of interesting. And I think it's good for a group discussion. I played Mahjong, okay? And there are 5 of us, 5 women. And 4 of us get to get, we are considerate, we're kind, we're easy, we're fun, it's a game that we're enjoying. There's a 5th woman who is bossy, and she's loud, and she's argumentative, and she's not a good loser, and she's got she raises her voice, and yesterday she wasn't playing, and the 4 of us were playing together, and one of the women said, "Gee, isn't it nice without her? I mean, the energy is so heavy with her." And those are the exact words that she used. The energy is so heavy, and it was so nice, and it was so pleasant. And is this a test? I mean, is this what where I'm really kind of put in this position in this group with this one woman who's obviously very difficult. It's very difficult to see the God in her. And I mean, I've been really good. I'm calm, and I don't react and all that. But I find it a little, I'm sort of questioning, how am I supposed to feel? So I'd like some input about that, really.
That's a great question, Myrna, and I'm sure that a lot of folks have some, good input for you on that. For me, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're straight on there. It is a kind of a test for you, not just a test for you, as far as, how do I deal with this and how do I get along with this, but actually, to me, and I think I got a lot of this more from Byron Katie, is you go through all the the questions, and then you come to the place where she calls it the turnaround, where you say, how am I doing this, and in what way do I do that, or would I, like Jesus says in the course, would I accuse myself of this, and really look at yourself and how you may be doing the same thing in a different way, or by thinking that way, uh, even though you're not saying anything or being abrasive in your mind, you are. Or, there's so many ways that you can look at your own behavior and see how it is that this thing that you're seeing is a reflection of your own self, because it couldn't be there if it wasn't a reflection of your own thinking. So so that's what I do, is I look and see, how am I doing this? And it may be really subtle. It may be like I may be being a real jerk sometime and don't even recognize it. Um, but uh, to do that, what happens is you learn the lesson that you're being offered by this person who is acting in that way. They're only acting in that way for you. They're only acting in that way for you to see your own thinking. And so when you realize that, or when I realize that, I'm actually making them act that way because I really need to see how I'm doing this myself. and then learn the lesson of how I am. And for me, sometimes I really have to humble myself and recognize, really, really be honest about my own thinking. But when I can do that, then what happens is it releases them from their assignment. They don't have to be that way anymore because they did what they came here for. And then you can have a gentler relationship with them because there's no more abrasion needed. There's no more of it necessary. That's what honest to God, I see it all the time because there's sometimes people get on my nerves, big time. And I'm like, why do they have to talk so loud, or why do they have to be, always make everything about me, all these judgments in my mind. And when I start looking at it and seeing what I'm doing it to myself, then I can let that go. And it actually does change them because they don't have to do that for me anymore. Now they can just be calm. And it really works. I mean, seriously, it really works. Anyway, if that makes any sense, that's what I have to say. Anybody else have any comment for Myrna's question, or did I just drive you all nuts? Karen.
Yeah, thanks, Marna, for that question. And thanks, Lynn. I love what you shared. And I agree 100%. And it kind of reminds me of this morning, I was listening to Dove, Sharon, and Lori. And well, not this morning, I was listening to them from this morning. Anyway, so Lori was sharing about, someone that, would never smile at her or say hi to her. And she would just keep smiling and saying hi to that person. I experienced the same thing here in the elevator with this one guy, took like probably months. And I didn't see him every day, but I would see him periodically in the elevator, and he was miserable. And I would always smile and say hi to him. He would never say hi to me. I continually said hi. So finally, one day he said hi to me. He said hi back to me. And then after that, it was always like that in the elevator. It was pleasant. He would smile back at me. We would smile at each other. It would be a hello, And so what I'm saying is what the Course teaches us, and what I learned from the Course, is that every behavior is love or a call for love. So this woman is calling for love. And it's also, as exactly what Lynn says, they're always teaching us about ourselves. Because if I'm seeing that in this person, there's something in me I don't want to look at that's unhealed in me. And that's a hard thing to look at. Like, oh, I'm not like her. I'm not like that. But there's something, it might not be exactly what she's doing, but there's something. But the main thing my main practice is, it's always a call for love. And when we love them and not judge them, because we cannot love our brother when we judge. Once we love them, they feel that love, and then it just disappears. They feel that love and it just disappears. That was my experience. But thank you for sharing that, Marta. That was great. Great question.
Can I add something? Yes, I love what you said. It's true. It really is true. If you feel love in your heart, that is how the person's going to respond. It's just almost impossible for me to feel love for this person. And you're right. If I could feel that, of course, the exterior would go away. If I could truly love that person, I wouldn't see the harshness in her. And so it's, I talk about love all the time, and it's connecting to that love that really is the test, trying to connect with the love that is there already. And you're right, it has to be a test, because I have to try to extend my love to include her. So that was a big help. It really was. Thank you.
Thank you, Myrna. Thank you, Karen. Wow, beautiful, beautiful sharing. Glorian, please go ahead.
Yeah, I love what everyone's sharing, and it's such a good question. And you know, everyone is showing us what we think. And I like what you said, Lynn, about how am I doing this? And we do look at that. And sometimes I think you come to the recognition where, like the way Myrna described the person, bossy and abrasive. I mean, I don't witness Myrna acting in that way. And ultimately, I think sometimes we look at the fact that maybe this is just something we don't want to participate in anymore, recognizing that like that kind of behavior is like not who we are, and just looking at it. And like when you said love it, Myrna, I think sometimes it comes to the place where you just don't judge it and just bless. So make no demands. Just the loving thing to do would be not to judge it, bless her, and you can bless her from a distance. But I think sometimes, you know, not everything is, you know, we're doing it. I think sometimes things start to manifest and show us that we really just don't want it anymore. We don't want that kind of, you know, activity in our experience. We don't want a friend who's bossy and abrasive. Like, why should we have that? We don't, it's not reflective of our consciousness. Our consciousness is at a different place. So that's my take anyway. Thanks.
Yeah, I agree, Gloria, and that's really very true too. And you know, one thing I've always recognized in myself is that I'm not in the presence of people that don't make me feel good. You know, that I don't make me feel good about myself. Maybe I'm putting it the wrong way. They don't have to compliment me. When I say good about myself, the connection, you know, the exchange feels good. And if I don't get that from people, I really walk away from it. And I really surround myself with very nice people. In this case, there were 5 of us, and yet everybody feels that way about her, you know, but yet we're all in this, really, it's a group, and I enjoy the group very much, and I enjoy being, you know, playing mahjong with these women. But it's interesting because here there's one person that you know, everybody is offended by her. So you know, I feel so forced to be in this, and the only way to maybe accept, you know, the situation is to try and get the message of what is trying to be taught to me, what I'm trying to learn from this. And once I connect with that recognition, then you know, somehow I feel as if I'm forced to be in this situation, and I have to come to terms with it somehow. So that's where that's where the line is drawn. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you so much, Myrna. Thank you, Gloria, and beautiful sharing. And yeah, it's again, you know, come back to, you know, my responsibility for what I want to see. So that's the way it works for me anyway. Sharon, please go ahead.
It was such a great night to listen. I mean, the clarity and the wisdom coming through everyone is just amazing. I'm in a situation like you, Myrna. I have my uncle passed away, and this is his second wife, and she is very negative. She doesn't like anyone. I mean, it's just, and again, I used to just stay quiet with her, and I still do, but it's a whole story, but in any case, she's alone now. She has absolutely nobody. And she called me the other day, and she wanted to start talking to me about how the family doesn't call her and how everybody hates her. And I just asked her, does she want to come over for a meal? And first I checked inside, because what's coming to me really clear is I always felt like the ego was taking me on like a, you know, down the rabbit hole. And I don't think so anymore. I think that the love of grace is leading us all home. And sometimes it looks ridiculous because, you know, this woman has really tough energy. Nobody in my family here in Altoona like her. She's alone. She does things, whatever it is, she's believing her thoughts. And what I saw today in me was, as I invited her over, was I went inside and I figured, oh my God, since I was like in my 30s, you know, Love is Letting Go of Fear was one of the first books I I think in my early 30s that I picked up. And I was so taken by that book because I knew it was true. So I've always figured, oh, the ego, I can't believe this ego, blah, 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 blah. But you know, the intelligence of grace is right here, right now. It never leaves us. And it is guiding us perfectly. Now, if you didn't, it's what Gloria had said. I agree too. When you're moving into a higher consciousness, she might fall away. However, there's a lot, you can't do this wrong. So when you go inside, you'll know. You know, I could invite, you know, my aunt over for dinner and maybe she won't like the dinner or won't like me or whatever. But what I want to show up as, because she's a reflection of my mind, is that love that I'm calling to me. Because I have a lot of holes, unhealed parts in me. So I thought, you know, I would just share that. And I think everybody, Karen, what you were sharing earlier, I was just blown away because everything you said just went deeper into me. You know, it's so clear that all of us are just really growing. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sharon. And wow, yeah, what you said, yeah. See, I'm you know, what more loving thing could you have done than to, you know, invite her over for a meal, reach out to her, answer her call for love with love. You know, that's really what we're here to do. And we're grown up people now. We're not, you know, little kids that, you know, run around, oh, my feelings are getting hurt by you. No, we're grown up people now. We're miracle workers. Our job is not to sit here and worry about our own feelings. Our job is to heal the world. And, you know, I see us doing that by taking on the responsibility. And as you said, you know, invite her over for a meal, you know, be her friend and love her. And, you know, not everyone can do that. But you know, it's definitely worth it's a lot more constructive and probably a lot um, more fun, more loving. You feel better about yourself when you reach out um, rather than to, you know, sit behind and um, not want to be around a person. I hope that's not ever me. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to reflect back on something that you said, Lynn, about, uh, how did I cause this? Taking responsibility for it. I looked at a situation, and for instance, it could be anything like career success. I'm not being successful in this aspect of what I'm trying to be. So first thing is you start disapproving of the situation, then you start disapproving of yourself, and and it just perpetuates itself. It gets worse and worse and worse. You want to change it, you want to fix it, you don't know how. Uh, then so that causes enough suffering in and of itself. And if that isn't enough, then you come up with an excuse. Another way to do it is to come up with an excuse why it isn't successful, why this thing you're attempting isn't successful. And that excuse can come up to as some kind of a physical thing. For instance, well, I got too sick, so obviously I couldn't devote all the time and attention to it. And it's so typical of ego. Reasons, successes, I mean, excuses, rationalizations. And you're caught up in this whirlwind of complete disapproval, self-hatred, and then maybe some kind of physical thing. And ego feeds off that. So it continues and it exacerbates until you finally look at it and get clear as to what the heck is going on, and then approach it and clear it up one step at a time, letting go one step at a time, and seeing it for what it really is. I went through that last week with something, and the first thing I did was what you said. Okay, wherein did I cause this to happen to me? Why is this happening? How did I do this? And that started the chain rolling, and I was able to get rid of it by examining my thinking and correcting it. So I just wanted to thank you for kicking it off and me, reminding me of that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rafi. And it's not even so much that I caused it, but it's a lesson that I need to learn. It's something that, this is not the first time this has come up, and if I don't nip it in the bud now, it won't be the last. It'll keep coming back. I can repair things with this person, or I can move on to another relationship or another situation. And guess what? That same person is going to show up in a different costume. Maybe they'll be a man, maybe they'll be a child, but that same thing is going to happen over and over and over until I deal with whatever it is in me that is needing to see this and recognize my own uh, how it is I draw it to me, how it is that attraction to guilt that Jesus talks to us about in the course. How is it that I keep ending up with the same thing, only different, if time after time? It's because I need to learn the lesson. Let me just stop and learn the lesson, and let's get over with it. Let's see. Cindy has her hand up. Is that now? Cindy?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay. Myrna, I just hear such earnestness and not taking away from it, it's seriousness. But it just occurred to me that, you know what I would do? Seriously, I would look at the whole situation like you're in a Hallmark movie. And you know how those movies are? How, everybody's skirting around an issue or, this or that. And then in the end, like the big truth or, the comes out and that, everybody's afraid to say. And then there's all this healing for that person and, they get it. And I don't know. I would try that. She might just be needing to hear the truth about herself. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in. So that's it.
Thank you, Cindy. She believe me, she does hear the truth about herself. I mean, people react, but she's like, there's nothing can get through to her. It's
Okay, all
nothing,
right.
just nothing. But you know what I was going to say? I have my hand up again because Karen was saying she's inviting somebody over to dinner that's obviously in pain. But my question is this. Do we really need to be in the presence of somebody that we don't really want to be want to be with? I mean, to me, it seems, and what I've gotten from the Course in Miracles, what I seem to have learned, is that it's about how you feel inwardly about the person. It's not having to connect with somebody physically. Believe me, I think it's really, really very noble and wonderful and kind of you. I don't know that at this point in my life, that I would want to invite somebody to be with me that I wasn't comfortable with, or I didn't truly want in that respect. So I just wondered about that, and believe me, I'm not criticizing. I mean, it's a I thought it was just such a kind thing for you to do. I don't know that I would have, done that if I truly didn't want to. I didn't want to be in that person's presence. That's all.
Yeah, but I'm just jumping in here real quick. It doesn't matter because you're going to find that same person over again and again and again and again until you until you come to some place where this doesn't matter. I don't care about this. This doesn't matter. None of these things this person does matters to me. Eventually it'll wear you down. Eventually, you'll just come to the point where you're going to accept that behavior and you're actually going to learn to love it. And think about this. How many times have we had people that were a thorn in our side? They were just a pain in the butt, when we were kids, whatever. And maybe they passed away or whatever. And then you're at the funeral or later on, you're talking about it. Oh, remember that? Remember how they were such a pill? We just had to, and you laugh about it. because you've gotten over the upset that you had about it, and you just see it. Wow, what a character that was. What an interesting character. How that made me feel. What that made me think. And you laugh about it because you recognize that no matter what they ever did, they never actually hurt you in any way or changed what you are. And maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. But in hindsight, it's always easy to look at these things and let them go. And so, what's hurting me now is that I'm holding on to this feeling of being uncomfortable. Why the hell should you feel uncomfortable? Why wouldn't you? I mean, honestly, do you want to go play games with people that make you feel uncomfortable? Well, you can either not play with them, but I'm guaranteeing you there's going to be another person that's going to come along that's going to make you uncomfortable in that same or another way, and you're going to have to deal with it then. And you're just going to have to, it's just going to keep coming back until you really deal with it. That's, I don't know, maybe that's some kind of pop psychology thing, but I think it's true. I think that, until I finally let go of my judgments or upsets about how people were in certain ways, um, it it just kept coming back and coming back and coming back. Now, when someone comes along that I think's a real asshole, I know right away, oh, here's something for me to learn. Here's a gift. Because all of a sudden, I'm in that seat of judgment again. But anyway, that's just my own personality. And I mean, I might be being a real, jerk about this right now. And it'd be real easy for me if I were in your position to say, why does she keep saying these things? Because we just play the part. We're just playing the part. And the only reason we're playing the part is so that we can learn the lesson we came here to learn. Anyway, enough of that. Karen, Regis, and then Michaela. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. I love what everyone's sharing tonight. This is a great conversation. Two things I want to say to you, Myrna. One is, as we all know, number one is always ask your inner guide, whoever that is to you, Jesus, Holy Spirit, number one, that's it. And then the second thing I want to say is no, we do not have to invite anyone to dinner. We do not have to go to lunch with them. We do not have to be in their presence. It is nothing, this course tells us it's nothing about the physical body. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because certainly there's not, but this is about mind training, and this is about what thoughts we think with our mind. It has nothing to do with the body or anything we do. I need do nothing. So it's always that for me. And I remember Ken Wapnick saying that one time. He says, I can't have lunch with everybody. I can't marry everybody. I can't sleep with everybody. He said, that doesn't have to be that way. It's just including everyone in the circle of atonement. And that is through the Holy Spirit. And that is nothing to do with meeting them for lunch or in a physical body. So thank you so much. Your question brought up so much for so many people. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Karen.
Well taken. Regis, please go ahead.
All right. Yeah, Karen, you said everything I was about to say, pretty much. So we are still Super Twin Power Activate. That is amazing because, we mix up stuff. Like I heard in this conversation also, and I'm very careful about defining, about, I don't know what love is. That's my, and we start talking about loving, what's loving, which is very abstract. Zoom was teaching this week, and from her, talking about if you offer peace and the people or the person you're offering peace to don't receive it, let the peace return back to you and leave. Jesus said, if you go to a place and they don't receive you, shake the dust from your feet and move on. So what you said, Karen, when you first started talking was the whole thing is there is no one size fit all. You know, the thing that you do first is I'm here to be only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent him who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or do. He who sent me will direct me. So the thing is, whatever you do, let it come from within. If you smoke and I don't smoke, and you want to get in my car smoking, and I tell you, no, you can't get in my car smoking, I'm not judging you for smoking. I'm just saying, I don't want to smell like smoke. I don't want to inhale your smoke. I don't want my clothes or my car to smell like smoke. Now, if you are offended by that, I can't control that. But I'm not, you can accuse me of judging you. I'm not judging you. I'm just setting boundaries. I can have a boundary. Now, if you can understand the physical boundary, it's the same thing with an abusive person. It's not always that you invited this. I'll tell you an example. My brother, he sent out a text to all of his siblings. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister. And he basically was really asking that he wants us to be closer. He wants us to communicate more as a family and all of this. And then he just laced it over with a lot of Jesus guilt. And he started talking about Jesus said and the Bible said and blah, blah, blah. So I communicated with him one-on-one. I didn't do it as a group. I said, look, don't try to guilt me into doing anything. You know, I said, I don't need your Jesus guilt. I don't want it. It's not welcome. If you want something from me, just ask me. And he's had something to say back to that, and I said something back. But I'm like, if you say, hey, Regis, I miss you. I miss how I reminisce on how we grew up and the things we did. I wish we could talk more, spend more time together. Hey, that's great. You don't need to tell me because Jesus said it, you know, and so if I disagree and I don't feel the same way, I'm somehow not pleasing God or not pleasing Jesus. Don't guilt. Don't guilt. You don't have to guilt. Just ask for what you want. So I said that to him. 2 days later, he texted me, "Hey, how you doing, brother?" And we talked and we chatted, you know. But it's not. We talk about the loving thing to do. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say no. No, no, don't talk to me this way. No, don't do that around me. No. And for some reason, we equate that no with not the loving thing to do. You know, and that's just not true. Sometimes people's it's not what you've asked for, is not in your consciousness. Is they're having a bad day and they want whoever come in their circle to have a bad day too. They just, and I tell my wife all the time, people don't get to shit all over my day. You just don't, you don't get to do that. I don't have to allow that. I can have a boundary. I can say no. No, 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 no. This is not what we're going to do. This is not, and as Gloria said earlier, you know, this is not an environment that I want to be in. It's no judgment. I'm not judging you. You can behave any way you want to behave, but not with me. You don't have to change. You know, I'm not sending you to any damnation, any hell. It's like Jacob Glass said one time, you know, there was this guy that he just steals. He steals. If he come in your house and something laying down, he may steal it. And so Jacob Glass so beautifully explained judgment. We keep saying everything is judgment. Everything is not judgment. And he was saying, okay, So this guy let the guy come to his house, and then the guy stole from him. And Jacob was like, "What did you expect? He steals." So if somebody steals, it's not judging them about stealing, but that's what you do. So if you come, you say, "Hey, Regis, can I come to your house?" I'm like, no, not right now, because I don't have time to put up all my stuff because you typically steal. So I'll just not let you come to my house right now. I don't have time to lock everything down. I'm not judging you, but I'm just so we have these conversations that Myrna brought up, and it's like Karen said, no, you don't have to go have dinner with the person. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. They're two different words with two different meanings. And to just say, the thing is, as Karen said, go within. And you don't, and going within don't mean you got to say, wait, let me go turn off the lights, let me go pray, and then I'll answer you. But peace, if you just come from that peaceful place, in that peaceful place, it's just like you raising your 2-year-old. Your 2-year-old is acting out. Your 2-year-old wants to run off in traffic. Your 2-year-old, while you're at the mall, want to break away from your hand and just go flying off into the mall. You're like, no, that doesn't mean you're not loving. And the 2-year-old might say, I hate you. They may say, you're a horrible mother. Let me do what I want to do. So it's the going within is not a one size fit all. It's what is this moment calling for? What is this holy instant calling for right now? If it's calling for you to be quiet, be quiet. If it's calling for you to give a holy no, give a holy no. If it's calling you to let me give you a hug, give a hug. But it's really the loving thing is to come from within. And so sometimes the most holy thing we can do, whether it's a behavior or whatever it is, it's just a simple no. And so that doesn't mean it's not loving. It doesn't mean it's not what the Holy Spirit is calling for at this moment. But we kind of group these conversations into this catch-all. And really the answer to the question is what everybody has said, is in that given moment. What is this moment calling for? It is not about what's going to happen in the future. It is not about if I don't handle this right today, then it's going to happen in the future, because there is no future. What future? There is only now. And no matter how spiritual we dress it up, if we're talking about the future, we're not talking about, we're ego. That's ego. There is no other moment. There is no later in the future that this might come up again. What is that? I don't know what that is. All there is now. So right here, right now, and I can tell you, being in marriage, when we get into a lot of marital fights, let's just call them what they are, fights, heated discussions or whatever, we're not fighting about what just happened. We're fighting for the future, because I don't want this to ever happen again in the future. And that's where we dig in our heels and we won't let go, because we want this person to assure us that this will never happen again. And it is nothing that anybody can say that can secure your future for you. You got to come back to the now. And when that couple comes back to the now, when me and my wife just come back to the now, not digging up what we did yesterday or 3 years ago, and not trying to secure that this won't happen again somewhere later down the road, but we just bring this little isolated moment to right here where it is, and that's all it is. And that ability to let that go really comes quite easy. Thank you all for hearing me out.
Thank you for that, Regis. Yeah, that was a lot. But you're right. If you can let go of it right now, you'll never have to think about it again. It will not happen again. That is the absolute truth. You forgive it now, it will not recur. And if it recurs, it's because you didn't forgive it now. They give you another chance to forgive it. Anyway, thank you so much. McKaylee and then Nicole. Go ahead, McKaylee.
Oh, well, I think we just said it all, what I was going to share. So, I mean, it's beautiful, but sometimes you do have to set boundaries because I work in nursing and son works as a EMT on the ambulance, and he loves working with this one paramedic. That paramedic is kind to everybody, whether you're a drug addict on the streets or homeless or trying to spit in his face or whatever. He always turns it around. He's such a good example for my son because he's always nice. He's always kind. He's coming from love. And it really, it sets an example to my son that he's coming from love no matter what the behavior is of the other person. But there is boundaries too. You have to set some boundaries with behaviors, but coming from love is the answer, and forgiveness. Oh yes. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's, yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, McKaylee. Nicole, please go ahead. And we have about 6 more minutes. So this time has gone really fast. But Nicole, please go ahead.
I've been doing my best not to think about it at all, and just focusing on choosing again to see the Holy Son of God, and choosing, and for any thoughts I have about it, they don't mean anything. And the lesson I was talking about earlier, those 2 lessons, he emphasizes to us that it's not thinking, that this thinking is not thinking, and it actually renders our mind kind of, so just choosing again to see the Holy Son of God in the now, right? The only time there is, right? Anyway, thanks.
Thank you so much, Nicole. Sharon, please go ahead.
I just want to say, Regis, you could go within. It's so obvious to me that you're going within. Because the book, if we keep looking at the book and saying exactly what it says, we're not really going inside. Each one of us has we have our egoic program, and then we have our higher self program. And when we go into, because that's all we are really. When we're in the silence, we are in our essence. However, when he said what he said, it's true, because I had another situation with a nephew who I had to set limits with. And I didn't say anything in the beginning. He just was really not, it was inappropriate, some of the things that he was doing. And I knew that. And I walked away, but that came also from inside. And I had to bring this up today because this whole process is not about this book. It's about what's going on within us. It's about coming to, because like what Myrna shared helped all of us tonight, but it's a question we all have, because how can we know in any moment what anyone's going to do? Because there is no right or wrong. If you decide not to engage in that lower vibration, that's fine. But you'll know in the moment. You can't know anything else, or else you're dreaming. If as soon as I go into thought, I am dreaming. So it's just sitting there and getting still and just asking. So I want to thank everybody. And Regis, I thought you were great with what you shared. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Sharon. And yes, it is the going into stillness that really gives us the strength to to do what we are here to do. When we're caught up in too much thinking, then it becomes it keeps us churning and doesn't allow the flow of of Holy Spirit through our mind. So thank you for that, Sharon. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share?
I just wanted to say one other thing too, which I've been working on using this practice, which is with my brothers or sisters, I go, let me see my brother as myself, and then what they're saying, and if they're behaving or acting out or whatever, seeing them as myself and practicing the lessons, these thoughts, you know what I mean? Like just seeing, right? I love what it helped me so much, Dove, when you directed us to Kate Greaves last week, and she had a post about seeing our brothers with the little pencil scribbles, and their thoughts are just like little pencil scribbles. And we're looking at the Holy Son of God, but they're just having their little pencil scribbles above them, which is like represents their thoughts, and that these are just scribbles in the mind that we share it with God, and helping me to be able to then extend my own practice to my brother. Yeah, so that was really wonderful and helpful. Thanks for that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for that, Nicole. And I just wanted to share something. Karen sent me this. It's really beautiful. I know you can't see it, but let's see. It's a beautiful picture, and it's actually Kate Greaves, and it's Christ blessing, and it says, "I love you, I bless you, I honor you. You are guiltless, you are innocent, you are sinless. You are perfect, you are whole, you are complete. You are the Holy Christ. Your worth is established by God. Amen." Isn't that beautiful? And that's exactly this is what you're talking about, Nicole, is, let me see my brother as myself. Let me see my brother as the love that he is, and let me see myself as the love that I am. And this is it. Yeah. And and Elizabeth says, coming home to God, pure love, light the Christ within. One amazing love. God is not fear, but love. Fear is the stranger here in our split mind of separation. Exactly. So, that's what, remembering our oneness. What a great gift this is. And I'm just so grateful for all of you for joining me in this place, in this dream world where we're awakening. I love you all.
Thank you all. Love you.
Bye.
Love
Great.
everyone. Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Love you all.
Love
Bye-bye.
you.